changed my life.
That's incredible.
Changed my life, bro. You know, everybody says that, you know, God sends messages. I got to talk to him.
Mm. And that's why I think your story is so powerful, man, because
You
like
know,
you get to experience something that most people don't get to experience. And again, not to diminish anybody's story out there. We all have a story. We all have something that is most likely unique, but it's not that things are going to happen and it's going to be unique to you, to me. It's all about, are we going to catch that? And when we do catch it, what do we do? Because we're always faced with decisions. We have to make decisions every second of the day, right? So for you, that when you asked that nurse, she could have said everything that she said, and you could have been like, oh, maybe that was a dream. Disregard it, right? But
I thought
you
it was an
said,
out of body experience. You know, I thought it was
correct.
just an out of body experience because, you know,
Yeah.
you're coming off all them drugs.
Mhm.
They're giving you morphine to get you settled down so they can do open heart surgery. I had so much drugs in my system, I had to wait 5 days to even do the open heart surgery to
Mm.
flush it from me, you know, to
Right.
get to speed. And,
Right.
you know, when you're drinking like that, your blood's so thin, you know, I
Mhm.
mean, it's like they had to wait before, otherwise I'd have bled out on the table, you know,
Mhm.
so I had to wait, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and in that waiting period, you get to reflect a lot,
Mhm.
you know, and it's like, you're thinking you're having all these people around you because you're surrounded with a bunch of people, especially in the drug world. You know, there's a bunch of people that's always around you, you know,
Mhm.
but you're still lonely,
Right. Of
you know.
course. Yeah.
And there were so many times that I was out doing my thing, and then you see that mother and father walking down the street holding their kid's hand, you know. And he's like, "Damn, I wish I had that in my life, you know.
Mhm.
That would be an awesome way, you know." And when God gives you a second chance, you have a chance to rewrite your story,
Of course.
you know,
Of
and
course.
be there for your kids. You know, I've got one son that's 36 years old. I've got another son that I got when I married Barb that's 37 years old that lost his father. Then I got a 21-year-old, you know,
Mhm.
so I had a chance at when Dalton turned 5 to rewrite my life,
Mhm.
you know, and be there as a Christian man, but as a father for once, you know, even though I was going through a divorce again, my second divorce, you know, because of my drug addiction, you know,
Mhm.
it's like you got a chance to rewrite it. And then as your journey goes on, Corey was able to give me three grandchildren, you know,
Mhm.
and to rewrite it again
Right.
now in life, you
Mhm.
know, I am a full-time grandfather, as you know,
Mhm.
we have the kids every weekend, you
Mhm.
know, bro, what a blessing, you know,
Right.
and then to
Yeah.
have them look up to you and to be able to pull them from any situation, because I've lived in all situations, you know, to be able to tell your kids, oh, I don't want you to do that. Well, I don't want you to do that because this is what it did to me.
Of course.
You
Yeah.
know, to be able to do that and to be able to tell your kids from an experience in life,
Yeah.
you know, and Corey was in it, you know, when I married, when Barb and I got together, her son was in a dark place. He just lost his father, you know, he was in a dark place, you
Mhm.
know, and it's like to be able to watch him change
Mhm.
because of the way I treat his mother and to see the life I've given
Right.
her.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
it's just, you know, it's incredible.
Well, that's what I was saying. So in life, we tend to just, you and I, we don't believe things happen by accident
No,
with God, right?
I believe it
Everything
happens.
is ordained. Everything was meant to happen. He has a plan for everything. That's
Just
his
like
will
this
in action.
relationship,
Exactly.
you know, just like,
Precisely. Right. So that's why not only I commend you for being obedient to God, but look at what he's doing in your life and look at your story now, being able to put it online and have people listen to you talking. If there is one thing I personally, and I'm going to ask you that question too, is like for you to not just watch things happen and not, first of all, learn from them and examine the situation that you are in, whether it's good or bad, because you don't know why you're in it. You might not be a Christian and you kind of see life in a secular lens. That's fine. But with that being said, it doesn't change the fact that you were here for a purpose, on purpose. So, meaning everything that happens, there's a reason for it. So, you might be somebody in a gang life and whatever, like awful things that you might be involved in now. Not only you need to get out of it, that's the obvious, but you can use that to change lives, just like Big Mike has used
there's
whatever life he was in, whatever he did. Now he's able to retroactively look at it and, God saving you as well, giving you a glimpse of what the future
you
could
know,
be.
the see people think there's not light at the end of the tunnel. Listen, I've got full, strong 8th grade education, some 9th grade, but not much, because I went to work. I think because you didn't graduate, you can't become nothing. You lived in this world. You're an ex-drug addict. You can't become nothing. You have an arrest record. You can't become nothing. You can become whatever you want to come if you put your mind and your heart and let God lead you, because God had to lead me, so I could change my circle, and everybody's like, well, you're 62 years old. You're fixing to be, your journey's getting. Age is a number.
Right.
I mean, look.
Like you and I, yeah.
Yeah, age.
Yeah.
I love this man because of the fact that how I seen how he conducts his life and what he's come through, and we're from two totally different walks
Couldn't
of
be more
life.
different. Couldn't be
Totally
more
different,
yeah.
totally different. But when we met, the bond, God put us together for a reason, because you needed me and I needed you, So if you don't take those signs and use them, and don't use them to use people, use them to grow people, I mean, he said it last night, to be a king, which I want to be a king, you have to serve.
Right.
A king doesn't get waited on. I serve my wife. I bought a house. My wife made it a home.
Right.
My wife never asked me to change. I wanted to change to show her a better life because of the love that she gave me that nobody ever gave me. I mean, women loved me. Don't get me wrong. My 2 ex-wives loved me. But we were oil and oil.
Right.
You got to have oil and water. You got to have somebody that's stable enough to tell you, hey, stop that, Smith. Stop that. You can't do that. Hey, listen. And we were talking this morning. Pride gets in the way a lot of times because we're very prideful men, know. When you're at home, pride needs to go away.
Yeah.
And that's hard for us because we're alpha males. We've been through a lot. We survived a lot. So you get this alpha gene in you that you always have to be right, and that you always have to do it your way, because we know our way in our minds is right.
Yeah.
I might say some things that you don't think is right. You might say some things that I don't think are right. So what do our wives go through when we say things that aren't male?
Yeah.
Because they're female. They think totally different.
Exactly.
So if you don't allow people in your life to change your thoughts and your mentality, how do you grow?
You don't. That's the thing.
How do you grow? Everybody asks me, like, don't you miss that lifestyle? I still have that lifestyle. I just have it around a different group of guys. I ride with a lot of guys. We go on a lot of journeys. They don't judge. They know that I'm a Christian. They respect that. They know I don't drink. They respect that. They know I don't smoke pot. They respect that. I just quit smoking pot February 5th, by the way, so I went the rest of my journey of being clean and 16 years of being clean off of hard drugs,
Good for you, man.
And I haven't smoked a cigarette in 16 years, after smoking 3 packs a day. Bro, I got to wipe my nose, bro. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, I got to take a break.
Take a break.
I got to wipe my nose. It's running.
Oh, that's too.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, it's real life. It's real life.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, for sure. I might not even edit that.
So when you go through this journey, and as you get older, things change. But what changed me was to be able to talk to men that were Christian instead of men that were bikers. They give you the real lowdown on what, like, hey, Mike, you're wrong at that thought. When you're in the biker world, and you're, especially when you're a man of my size, and a man of my magnitude, his way was right. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's powerful to me.
No, it's not. My way's not right. God's way is right. And when you put him first and start changing your way of thinking, man, life gets a lot simpler. Not saying it's easy, but the stuff that mattered that you always fought to have.
Yeah.
If this video can save one person from the road I went down, God, man, then I did my job.
It's funny that you say that. I don't know if I ever told you this. Before I started this YouTube channel, that was my thing. I said, I'm going to start this. I don't seek to be this, famous guy like this. Nothing against Joe Rogan or any big podcasters. You do your thing. But for me, it was always about the people. How many lives can I change through? That's why I'm not even gonna edit this, because I want it to be, we're sitting in your house.
This is real.
We're having a conversation. We're drinking coffee. we're having a conversation that we always have together within our group of guys, but you and I, we believe that this conversation could change other people's lives. Just
Of
like you
course you
said,
can.
if it changes one person's life. And as we're talking about like the biker life, like, and there are all sorts of different unsavory lives that people are living out.
Everywhere around you, the
Right.
culture is different. You know, there's hip hop life, there's rock and roll life, there's
Right.
biker life, there's
Gang life.
gang life,
Like,
and there's addiction everywhere. There's people addicted. I mean, listen, all over. You know, we talked about this morning, even hoarders. You know, that's an addiction. You
Yeah.
know, so
materialism.
people think that you can't have fun if you're a Christian. Let me tell you,
Couldn't be farther from the truth.
couldn't be further from any. Your fun might look different. I thought, if I leave that biker lifestyle, if I leave that everyday partying, that, you know, those late nights, you know, getting up in the morning hungover, you know, this was fun. But when you look back at it, what a chore.
Yeah.
You know, what a chore to live that life. You know, I mean, now my life consists of, you know, let's back up a minute.
Yeah.
The only way to change your life is to change your mindset.
That's where it starts.
You have to change them. You know, we have somebody at the front door.
Excuse me. We're not gonna edit that either.
Let's see who we got here. Probably the mailbox guy replacing my mailbox.
Might be it.
Ah, thank you, brother.
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message.
Amazon's always coming. Amazon comes to the Marlowe house all the time.
Right.
So
right.
yeah,
we got a package.
Anyway, you know, you got to change your mindset. You know, so Barb and I started. Barb is my wife. We started. I get to get up in the morning and have coffee and prayer with my wife. You know, we turn the worship music on. I'm a music guy. Anybody that knows that, the way I ride a motorcycle, stereo's cranked up, pipes are loud. This makes me smile, you know? So we get, you change your mindset instead of, oh, I have to get up in the morning and go to work. No, I get to get up, have coffee with my wife.
Let's talk about this part. And I want to put an emphasis on that get to, and specifically for younger generation, right? So we're going to go back to some of the beginning of some of that lifestyle that you really, but as we're talking about get to, tell us the difference and the power behind saying, I get to do something versus, oh, I have to do this. I have to go to work. I have to.
Just like the way you're tilting your head there. See how you just came across like that? That's how we come across. Well, I got to get up in the morning and go to work. No, you don't. You don't have to get up in the morning and go to work. You get to get up in the morning and go to work because God gave you a chance to move forward and grow your gift, you know. You get to spend time with your wife because
it's a privilege.
I went 8 years without one.
But yeah.
You know, because I divorced, you know, 2 women divorced me because of my drug habit, you know, because of my not being honest, not being faithful, you know. That whole drug world comes with a culture. And then when you become a drug dealer, comes with another culture of sin. So, you know, when I wanted to change the way I lived my life, I had to change the way I thought about my life. You know, it's a privilege to get up and have that woman at home that loves you unconditionally, that loves you for all your defects. You know, she loved me when I was broken.
For sure.
You know, and it's a blessing to be able to say that you get to get up. And when you start your morning with positive prayer and worship music, it changes your whole trajectory of the way your life should be. You know, if you put God first and your spouse second, it just changes how you think and how your journey goes on, you know. And when you start out with a positive note as God being first, and then watching your wife dance as she's putting on her makeup because the music's cranked so loud, it just gives you this new energy that you don't get when you're in that other lifestyle.
Right.
You know, get my old lady out of bed. You know, that's the way you talked, you know. Get ready, come on, we got to get the F out of here, you know. No. You know, it's happy. It's energetic. Then I get to throw. I get to throw my leg over a motorcycle, which is my savior. You know, that's what blows all the shit out of my head. Was be able to ride that bike, and I get to crank. I used to listen to hip hop, rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know, gangster rap. Now I listen to Christian music, cranked. people look at me in the morning because they hear me talking about God on my motorcycle. Here's this guy we've been watching him go to work for 10 years, same address, same route, same everything. I've been riding a motorcycle my whole life, Even the world knows I'm changing because my message is different.
Of course.
My thought process is different. When you get up, that's a gift. God could have took me in May 15th, 2010. He could have taken my life. I've already flatlined. He could have taken my life. My journey wasn't done. My job wasn't done here on earth. My path was just finally lit up right then and there. At 45 years old, I finally turned the light on. Brother. And, my wife told me the other night, she's like, look at all the people that you've pulled from the clutches of hell. Pastor Brian said, how many guys in your life can you pull from the clutches of hell? Well, in the biker lifestyle, and a very dear friend of mine, Donnie St. John, he works in Puerto Rico, comes home. He works for 6 weeks, come home for 2. Watching him, because he was one of my guys in my journey, that I loved him, but he was on the wrong path still.
Yeah.
And I had to make a bet with him to get him off drugs. I won the bet, and it was just crazy, and then now I watch his journey with me, even though we're from a distance, we talk every day. He gets a prayer list every day, and, my prayer list grown from 2 to like 155 now, so
Wow.
it's 30 minutes every morning. I have to do that, but I get to do that for other men, for other people, for other women that's struggling. And when you get that little bit of message, it's just a devotion. But when you get that first thing in the morning, you read it.
Of course.
Then to start your day out on a positive note. So if you can start somebody's life off on a positive note,